Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Mosquitoes, carpenter bees, termites, bed bugs, and then there's just the normal ants and spiders and such that you get in your home. Southeast Termite and Pest Control protect your home against all of those things. Whether you live in Morristown or La Follette or Jamestown or Maryville or anywhere in East Tennessee, give them a call. They probably cover your area. They cover mine. I use them at my house all the time. Southeast Termite and Pest Control, they do a great job. Fall invaders, I call them. Whenever the spiders start showing up in early spring and summer, I give them a call. They do great work. SoutheastTermite.com to learn more. Okay, back in 1969, as I mentioned, there was a Tennessee Ole Miss game where Archie Who was born, and people still talk about it. It's been passed on forever. So that's the best example of a term that just popped. You know, another one would be if you say running through the T, people know what that means. Running through the T. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're running through the T. Well, that's only been around since Doug Dickey started it in the 60s. So that's another one that's out there. We put together a list, or I put together a list, and we'll see what these guys think of it. Terms that will be here and live for a long, long time. Claw fence, the Dave Clawson offense. Everybody talked about, oh, can't wait to see the claw fence. Groomers, which is uniquely Tennessee, groomers. Shiano Sunday. Butchisms, which I'll allow you to break this off if you wish. I just put them all under Butchisms, which is his own term. But you can go with brick by brick, champions of life, 5-star hearts. The question is, of all those statements, there's 7. If you got something else, you can throw it out there. But you got those 7. Which one, say in 2060, will you be able to say, and Vol fans will still get it, like you do Archie Who so many years later now? Which one will Vol fans still understand what this was?
Brick by brick. How quick brick by brick is it? Brick by brick is it? And people are saying it now. And brick by brick, huh? Yeah.
But won't that joke dissipate? I agree. Of his Butchisms, that would be, including Butchisms, that would be number 1 to me because they used it to market
so
it.
Much,
I mean, it was on T-shirts and everything, so that gives it a better chance.
Yeah.
I'm going in a different direction.
Okay.
I'm going groomers because I think John Gruden is such a big name, has been and will be for many years. And I think anytime there's a situation where there's some uncertainty about where Tennessee is going with a coach, they'll say groomers. So I just think the groomers is going to live on because of John Gruden as being a big part of it.
Although I wonder if his disappearance from the scene now impacts that a little bit.
It could.
I would go because it was an impactful day. People lost their jobs over it. You had people that were claiming, I was there, and then after Pruitt washed out, you had people saying, I just showed up. I didn't know anything about it. Shiano Sunday. To me, I mean, that was a Twitter thing. Politicians got involved. As I said, people lost their jobs. People who were involved in that eventually lost their jobs. I would go Shiano Sunday simply because of the historical magnitude of it, that 50 years from now, somebody may be able to say, oh, yeah, I remember when if only they had done this or they hadn't done that. I mean, if this program gets blown up under Jeremy Pruitt, we're going to go back to Shiano Sunday. If you just let Shiano come in here, do you deal with any of that? So I'm going just because of the history of it. There's something tied to it that I think that's going to keep it alive. And a lot of fans are very much proud of it, the fact that we took control of our program again. So,
which makes it even worse.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It depends on
how you look at it.
If I were one of those crowd, I would look at it and say, but we kind of blew it on the who we hired after. But regardless.
I think if you're talking like 60 years from now, and if I get this wrong, nobody's going to be around to tell me I was wrong. I'm thinking Butchisms, just because there were so many of them. And they seem to get progressively worse. And brick by brick, we found out wasn't even his. He wasn't even original enough to have. It's used other places all the time. But they used it in marketing.
The trash can wasn't his either. Kevin Sumlin was doing that.
It's just the Butchisms and how they do. And the champions of life, man. People will still be talking
Dan
about
Mullen
that.
used that after Butch Jones just a few years ago. Coaches have used that one before. But again, I think this gets back to most hated villain. He just did stuff that other people did. But with him, it sticks out as it's more detestable. Florida fans don't despise Dan Mullen.
No.
But he said champions of life. I mean, they're fighting, but they don't hate him like they do Butch Jones. I bet you Florida fans aren't going to follow Dan Mullen to wherever he goes. I hope he lose.
And cheer against him.
Who does Arkansas State
All right,
play?
so what are you going with? Or did you already say?
I'm going to Shiano Sunday, I like it. Groomers, I think that's going to get, but I got to go with Butchism.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that all of that stuff and the fact that here you are all these years later and,
You
people
can say-
still know that about a
Yeah.
failed coach. You could almost put Water the Bamboo up there.
Well, that's a
What was
Dooley
it? What
thing.
the
That was a
one?
Dooley thing.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's kind of
Rommel.
like that, except Butch kept doing it. I mean, Dooley had one that I can think of.
Well, you had the Normandy thing.
Yeah.
You
where he
know,
compared his
but
own
I mean,
team.
it seemed
He also
like
had the shower etiquette.
Yep.
And he did the, what's so hard about calling over here and asking to come over? Remember about the VFLs
Yeah.
getting
Yep.
in? He had a lot, but
and he said britches.
he might have said
But
he
no,
might have been on
I'm
the
going to
hated list.
go. I'm going to go Butchism.
Butchism. I would
Yeah.
say Butchism's lasting. I think groomers. If I had to pick one of those two, I think I would go with groomers because it can apply to other. As Jimmy mentioned, you could apply
Yeah.
that to other coaches. Like if you're in a coaching search and it sounds insane, yeah, it's a groomer. Whereas Butchisms, I haven't heard any. Well, Pruitt's using a Butchism. I haven't heard anybody say that about Heupel. So I don't know that it's for something to last. It seems like you'd need to apply it to other people.
I'll say it on the show
But okay,
next week.
there you go. That's because you've got a 5-star.
Yeah, you're a champion of life, Bob.
All right, very good.
Brick
All
by
right.
brick.
So the biggest, so the biggest villain was Butch Jones. The biggest hero was Eric Berry, and the most memorable term is Butchisms. This is so we got a lot of Butch Jones stuff in here. So let's do Eric Berry cleanse the palate in.
Yeah.
Really. All right, when we come back, over the last 20 years, Tennessee hasn't caught a lot of breaks. What's the biggest break they have caught? Best break of fortune that they've had in the last 20 years since we signed on in summer 2003. Come on back, we'll discuss.